go live now. Should be live in a few seconds. And there we are. We're live. And would you look at that? It's just 3 people in this chat. What the fuck happened to these streams? I might have to just go back to doing them every other week because because there was so much demand. I was doing them every week. And now nobody's showing up.
Oh yeah, at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be.
What fucking shit was happening there?
Oh, see, there we are. There's a new face.
Oh, right, it's podcast time. Totally forgot that.
Yeah, you and everyone else apparently.
Fuck.
Oh, but one.
I should be asleep, but like what happened in general is way too entertaining.
There was a point when I was like, I don't care about this anymore, and then I stopped reading.
I Gryffindorian went in general and read the whole thing out. Like loud.
Damn, that's the thing. Yeah, hi, welcome to Fast Food Thursday. Today is weirdly, I'm extremely depressed today. I woke up today and I was like, no.
Reading your chat going on about like women have a role in society will do that.
No, I was just like, from the moment I woke up, it was like, no. And, you know, it's gotten better over the day, so I'm kind of alright now. I'm just very exhausted.
Can't be as bad as my depression of like, oh, fuck, my holiday's over now. Tomorrow I'm back to work.
Ah, that's fucked up. That's like the last day of your holidays? That's really shit. Why is the Friday your first work day?
It's because I like, my calculations are slightly off 1 or 2 holidays. So they're like, we're going to need to reduce one of these. And obviously I needed to get them used in this tax year. So I was like, fuck it, just pick one. I don't care.
Okay.
I got another one, though, coming up on 8th next month. So it's not that long.
That's nice, though.
And then it's another, like, 10 plus days.
God damn.
I mean, nothing of interest came out for me, so I was just like holding on to them just in case some of it was either updated or released. Because most of my holidays are revolve around if a game is released.
I've been getting back into Stellaris. All the DLC were on sale the other day. And my grandma had just gone, buy something nice for yourself. So I just said, well, I'm still missing a few. And so I got them, and damn, that game has really become a lot better than it already was. And I remember playing it in 2017, and it was kind of good. I liked it a lot.
It was alright, but it was pretty bare bones on day 1 launch, because it's one of the few games I bought on launch, because like, I was obviously coming from EU4, and I'm just like, Paradox in space. Don't mind if I do. And I never really abandoned the game like I have with Imperator. Considering I've been on it today for 11 hours.
The thing is, really, that I forget what I want to say. Yeah, there's so much stuff going on in Stellaris that there's a lot of stuff where, oh, you're out of administrative capacity? What the fuck does that mean? Let's go to the wiki. Oh, I have to, and this and that, and like, wait, how does this work? And then this relationship, and wait, how is the mandate of my political candidate that got elected, like, hidden in some section of the situation log that it's difficult and inconvenient to find? And where is my leader anyway? Why they got, it can be really fucking weird.
I'm barely grasping the game by now, and I've played many rounds.
Why have you designated Ilum as a bureaucratic center? There's not a single bureaucratic building.
Yeah. So this is a great thing that I thoroughly support. My plan would involve hollowing out West Virginia and using the slag to fill in Lake Ontario, completing a diagonal chain of now saltwater lakes across Turtle Island, and linking the Arctic and Atlantic seas. This would benefit no one and cause untold damage. I will take no questions.
Beautiful.
Magnificent.
Alright, Burger.
I'll allow it, but only if you saw off California and form it into its own island in the ocean and secede it from the Union.
See, I have this this post-apocalyptic thing where the sea level raised by an amount that it would not realistically raise by. And San Francisco actually becomes a very interesting, like the whole Bay Area. Maybe I can, because I did like I might be able to give you like a screenshot of it. Because if I can get Google Earth to do it properly. Because fucking...
I just had a thought. How structurally sound are like Manhattan buildings in terms of if they were flooded?
Oh, very. There's a novel called New York 2140 where that's
Is this
like
going
the
to
case.
be exactly what I'm thinking?
And all of Lower Manhattan is basically the lower levels of the buildings are basically flooded. They have like some of them they dried manually,
So it's
and
a
it's
city
still
on water.
it's still a hugely important area, and it's just the lower Manhattan area that's flooded. So the upper Manhattan is not. Let's see, it was the 80 meters one, right? Okay, no, what the fuck?
It'll be once the
'Cause
gym's open again.
I was just
boy.
brainstorming of like,
Oh,
you
boy.
technically, if it flooded, the skyscrapers would still be usable. You just basically don't use the flooded region
Okay,
for like
You know, Berg, this is
habitation.
actually reminding me of something. You're familiar with Alternate History Hub, right?
yeah.
A while ago, he actually published a book that was like an alternate history about the, I think it was called the Atlantropa Project being actually produced.
Okay, so my thing was 80.
Please tell me he says it ends up being an utter disaster. And they realize that no, this was not a good idea, and the untold devastation from draining that area.
So I had this. It was this thing where, damn, this is now. They made a new one of this. This is really cool. Because I remember the old flood map at some point stopped working. I'm gonna have to. So basically, let me post you a screenshot on this in chat. If you had a sea level rise of 80 meters, which is way more than is possible, but it would be actually. You know what? Let's go for 100, for around 100. Just, for the fun of it. And basically
Yeah,
this
shits
would
and
be
giggles.
like, I wanna give you 2 of these. It would be very interesting in terms of like a setting to work with. Which would be essentially I hate fucking sometimes it takes it's way too long to crop screenshots. I hate it. No, this is not this is the screenshot that I want to crop. It's actually this is the one I want to crop. There we go. Oh fuck no, that was the one I wanted to. Oh my god. Oh my god.
The only thing I see is Brady's whack-ass Stellaris Empire.
My brain is just fucked today.
When your allies and economic agreements decide to declare war on the person that you're guaranteeing, so you floor them into the ground, and that's why I have a line up there, because I took his stuff off it. A permanent reminder of them error of the ways.
See, I like Stellaris as an interesting world building simulation, but there comes a point where I'd rather be like a character in that world and explore it that way. So basically, what you'd have.
I just play a bunch of Civ 5 with Vox Populi, so don't look at me.
This is like a very interesting situation because that whole area would basically become. Well, not necessarily an inland sea, because as you can see here,
That'd be a port.
this like the San Francisco proper. Well, I mean, San Francisco proper would be mostly drowned.
Oh, extreme flooded.
But that
Damn.
whole area would be a massive, just a massive strategic choke point, because you'd have because there's a lot of like desert area in California that would be changed. It will probably become more habitable in many places, at least like without artificial irrigation. But this you essentially would control all of that area if you controlled like the San Francisco choke point.
I'm not gonna lie, if nothing else before aesthetics, I unironically hope this happens.
It's not going to happen because the sea levels can never rise.
Oh no, I know it's not gonna happen, I just
That
kind of
looks
wish
like
it would
the-
happen if
right,
for nothing else, but we can finally
I'm
end the
gonna
misery.
theorize on like the way the desert formed is that used to be a thing, but glacially.
Wait, this is a problem actually that I'm seeing here because this isn't the height that I had for my setting because my setting is.
Imagine trashing your boat because you hit the high spire of the Golden Gate Bridge at the water.
Oh yes, this my setting was actually
Uh-oh.
at 200. But yeah, that's entirely possible. See, my setting
It's
was
like,
at
did
two-
you just hit
yeah.
the biggest object in the water? That is picked up by all sonar systems. Maybe.
Hey,
Don't worry,
Berg.
I'll reverse it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm taking
considering
up
that
water.
America's pulled out of Kurdistan, right? Who do you think's gonna militarily occupy it at first? Turkey, China, or Russia?
I have no
China's
idea.
not
I am
there.
not a Middle East expert. See,
China's not there, and the truth is, Russia and Turkey. Well, Russia needs Turkey to be friendly, otherwise it does not get its boats
See,
out.
this was
Even
actually
though
the
they've started a
level of-
fucking proxy war against each other a few years
They don't want
back.
proxy wars against each other. There's even a point where the fucking Britain's proxy warred the US.
Yeah, and as far as China goes, you know that Turkey's one of the few countries that's actually like economically an opponent that they need to be worried about. Plus, one of the only Islamic countries to actually call him out on the whole Uyghur thing, right?
Well, China's
still,
not got
the
presence
whole,
in that
I
area,
really,
though.
I really want,
there's
I
no
really
chance.
want to do the bit where it's not the Uyghur issue, but the Wigger issue.
Mhm.
Well, there goes Heinsky. No more wigs for you.
Well, China also wants that Silk Road through Turkey,
Yep.
and that would help their economic situation.
Yeah, it's why they're trying to. Was it China trying to fund that canal through the Balkans, or was that somewhere else?
No, that was China.
Okay.
There's a lot of wild shit. Damn, now I want to go back to the setting because, like, most of, like, look at fucking, like, you've seen the thing in California, but in the setting that I have, look at fucking Northern Europe, right? I'm going to show you this because it's
Probably seen it because I've tested like maximum flood tests
it's
just to know if I'm underwater.
no, this is but this is not possible that it would flood this high. The height that I've set it to, which is 200 meters. There's not
You think
enough
my autism
water,
hasn't
like even if
tested
all
that?
the ice melted, that wouldn't happen. This is for a completely fictional setting. Because of
What, where-
I really wanted to have interesting landforms. You see this?
One could dream. It's like all the world's problems in the east just been washed away. It's like when the Ents open up the river.
You do have this is very interesting because you have this Hungary has basically an inland sea and it is connected through a very, very narrow strip. I checked this because I did some world building there. It's connected through a very, very narrow strip. Let me send you a screenshot of this. You've fucking set me off on this. I have no idea how we got here, but now I'm in it.
So basically, the only things that are left after this would be a bit of
Hang on,
Bit
how
of,
big is this island? How big is this?
a bit of
Oh, I
Britain,
need to zoom in on England.
a lot of Sweden,
Where's that small island?
a
just
few
under
German
the
mountains,
arm?
and a tiny bit of Spain.
I was like, is that my house just right under the arm?
This would be the only passage from the I had a name for the Russian Sea, for the Black Sea, which expanded. Obviously, it basically flows into the Mediterranean, becomes one. Because
The
if you let's
Blacker
look at
Sea.
like southern Europe,
Or
actually
the
Turkey
Union.
is mostly fine, right? So
Yeah, because it's Highland.
yeah, it's Turkey is mostly highlands.
All right, put the land back, boys. We can't let them have an advantage.
I mean, of course, the map is unrealistic insofar that the Netherlands is blue, when realistically it would be the driest place. So they would just defeat the ocean. So if you look at like southern Europe,
It'd be like fucking giant walls from like fucking Attack on Titan or something. Just like instead of like giant people, it's the sea itself.
So you'd have, and then you have another strategic choke point further up in the Hungarian, the Magyar Sea. There's also this, you can't also see this, but there's a connection of the Mediterranean to the Atlantic Ocean over the Occitania region. I checked this, I did a lot of fucking investigation on this because I wanted to do some very, very cool world building with this setting. It's really fucking, it turned out really, really nice. The area that has no problems is just Central Asia. Like nothing changes in Mongolia, except of course that there's a huge flood of refugees and shit.
That'd be a tone change for once.
And
I mean, to them,
you're gonna love this.
Just imagine being Prime Minister of Mongolia. It's like, wow, so this is what it feels like.
You're gonna love this. Especially all Americans are gonna love this. Promise you that.
No.
Florida gone. Just
Yes.
Completely gone.
No. Come on, man. In Florida's at least cool.
No
Just
more
get rid of
anarchy
California, man.
Fucking.
All you had to do was keep Florida and get rid of California. You done fucked it up.
Well, I'm sorry. How are you pro-Florida, anti-California gang?
Because I live in California. This state is a shithole.
They should have nice weather.
I think people I think people would recognize the land masses if you just use this for a setting. I have this idea. I have that idea for doing that with like a terraformed Venus, though. That would be very interesting.
Also, let me respond to the man who said, you have nice weather. What weather? If you're south, you only get sun. If you're north, you only get rain. Those are your only two options.
That's great. I love rain.
That's great. I love the sun.
Yeah, but it's rain and nothing else.
Somebody said in chat, no one lives in the Sahara, so why don't you just take a lot of water and make a huge lake in the Sahara? I'll tell you why. Because then the Amazon rainforest would die. A lot of nutrients that the plants of the Sahara rainforest need comes from transatlantic winds and is picked up on the Sahara. And it lands down, it lands over there. And that keeps it massively amplifies the carrying capacity of the environment of the Amazon, because the trees can grow to have like an immense amount of nutrients available to them. So there's also a proposal, a theoretical proposal to basically turn the Sahara into a green area, which if you used proper desalination technology would absolutely be possible. But unfortunately, that would also destroy the Amazon rainforest. So, you'd even get a connection between like this. You see this the area where there's like the Memphis Sea and it goes up to Chicago. If you zoom in on that, there's also much like with the Magyar Sea. There's a narrow strip that would actually get you through Chicago into Lake Michigan and thereby the Great Lakes. So the Great Lakes would essentially become, and also from the north, because the same happens through Quebec, saltwater lakes.
I think you go doing it in reverse. You go from Great Lakes to California. So they'd be freshwater. They'd just be giant rivers.
I don't know about hockey humor. There's all of Amazonia in this setting is also just a huge ocean, a sea. There's so Africa also mostly, especially like southern Africa, would be fine.
What if Atlantis isn't a city that sunk, but a city that rose?
Babe, it's on the shelf.
Because like again, like New York, they just end up using that layer where it's not underwater, and they build upon that.
I mean, especially like in that setting, in the Kim Stanley Robinson setting, it's really fucking cool because there's like they make like the streets become canals and they have like sky bridges between different buildings. It's a really, really lively city. But then there's also like all of these huge New York skyscrapers, and then a little farther up, you have in Jersey, I think. You have these like so much because technology has advanced. Of course, they build like skyscrapers that are like 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers high, and those are like up in. I think they're up in like fucking in Yonkers or something. They built those. To be just gigantic, and in Newark.
Meanwhile, in Egypt, so we need a solution for these floods. More pyramids.
Oh, the whole Egyptian water situation is rather interesting, though.
The fucking Ethiopia. I think there's going to be a war over that because it literally is their survival. If
There
Ethiopia
may well
damn
be,
that,
actually.
if Ethiopia damn that, Egypt just desertifies.
Yeah, and there's a huge amount of people who would die as a result, so...
It's like, die without water or die in war, boys. Just spirals out of control and becomes a pan-African war.
They're really, like, what needs to happen really, really bad is that we develop proper desalination techniques. That needs to be cheap and affordable.
Unfortunately, all of that is controlled by Nestle.
Goddamn, just...
I mean, I'm not wrong.
I know.
Just the empire of Nestle. That's the future I never saw as a child.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Musk fucks off to Mars with half of the Earth's economy.
Oh, you can have... See, because there's a... did I ever release the Monks of Haifa short story?
I don't know. I might be
I
your biggest
think
supporter,
so.
but
If
I don't
you,
read you like that.
I vaguely remember this at some
Because that
point.
one is in this setting.
What did the monks of Haifa do again?
They're basically there's this the city in Israel. I mean, what is today Israel, and they're like they essentially it's a lawless city except for areas where the monks keep the peace.
Yeah, and then there was like the monk on the tower with a sniper rifle, right?
Yeah, exactly that one.
Yeah, you did. You posted that one. I listened to that. That was cool.
Yeah, that's basically this setting.
Oh.
Yeah, there's so much because that also is a strategic situation where I want to put. No, I don't want to have any map markers. Thank you.
Burger,
So,
did you
read this
release
one
that on
before.
Audible?
not Audible. Why Audible?
No.
Why, how would I release
One of your
that?
short stories.
I don't release short stories on Audible. I release them on YouTube.
Oh. You can make money.
Can I release them on Audible? I feel like that would be like a lot of because they, when you get an Audible audiobook, it's, that's like a
love-
30-hour
There's some
experience.
cheap stuff on
I would
there.
love to
Is there?
weaponize crows. That'd be great.
But at the same
Yeah, some
time,
people
they're all
use-
available for free on YouTube. So why would you get them?
Premium experience, add in a extra chapter or something at the beginning or the end.
Yeah, no, but then the story. The stories they have they have like a beginning and an ending. Like there's a
You
reason.
can tell
for
the
it.
story of the idea, how you got it.
Imagine
I
your
have no
stories
idea how
having
I
an
get my
ending.
ideas, to
It's
be
both
honest.
made by multinational gang.
I'll be honest, Berg. There's two stories of yours that I think are actually my favorites because more often than not, I actually really like your horror shit. I'd say my two favorite ones from you are the evolutionary reason for the uncanny valley and a special kind of hell being my absolute favorite.
A lot of
If
people
for no
didn't
other
like
reason-
the Uncanny Valley one.
I really liked it. That one was really good. And also a special kind of hell. If for no other reason, your devil voice is amazing.
Yeah, I remember doing that. That was really cool. But yeah, I don't know if the idea, of course, is to put it on Audible is a decent one. Actually, it's not a bad idea at all. But it's not something that I think I would want to do, because all the stories are available on YouTube for free. There's not really any additional value that I can add for that. Like the only thing that I could do is like take them off YouTube, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But it is if I release like a book proper, it'll be on there probably. So that's gonna happen anyway. But No, I mean I haven't released for like over a year now. I haven't released a single short story. I haven't even. I mean I have written a short story. I've
Going to the
just
gym?
like for the past over the past year, I have only written one short story.
Yeah, I have noticed that, and admittedly, I get why. Don't get me wrong, shit's fucked right now, but I did have missed looking forward to those.
Yeah, it's because also I was. I mean, it was coronavirus times, and also I was focusing on the novel,
Yeah, I remember.
which is now gonna. And then I'm like taking a little break, and I had a lot of like mental health shit going on.
Yeah.
Tuesdays. Anniversary of horse funeral. Based. Yeah.
Well, if you do eventually release a book on Audible, you can just give a link, and if they don't have the account, they can get the free book, and then you still get paid for the sale of the free book.
Wait, how do I get paid for the sale of the free book?
Because the account is activated, and they just want the, like, you sell at normal price, but if it's their first book, and they choose your book, you still get paid. Because that's basically out of Audible's pocket.
That's
So they
true,
don't-
but why would you do that though? Why would you? I mean, no, my book is not going to be free. No. My actual book is not going to come out for free.
Right. But the free book that they get when they start up the account
Yeah.
would be a credit.
Oh, that's cool that you still like you get paid as the author of it, even though they use a credit for it. I mean, it makes sense, obviously.
Right.
But that's really nice.
Because some people will sell their books for like $50 on Audible.
Yeah. That's kind. I feel like it's kind of fucking expensive. That's like a lot of money.
Hey, I pay it, but good books.
Yeah. I don't know. As that whole thing, I'm looking to get like traditionally published with this one. So I don't know how that's gonna turn out.
Have you talked to an editor before, or?
No, I've not yet talked to an editor. I want the draft that I deliver to be very polished and very good. Which is, I'm gonna be starting the final draft in like a couple days, actually.
Oh yeah, so Berg.
Yeah.
Berg, you know that video you made the other day on the on like Harry Potter being very difficult to make a system for?
Yeah.
I ended up like getting into a conversation with another user on the server. Recent addition to us, Galad, I believe.
Oh yeah, I know Galad.
I don't know if you. Yeah, and we actually got to working together for a little bit, and I came up with a rough beginning for this bit right here, which is a draft for a Harry Potter system. I'm using World of Darkness as a base and just kind of modding it to all fuck from there.
You need to give me access. It's set to no access.
Oh shit, my bad. I thought
Google
I
Drive
fucking
is
fixed
really
that.
fucking weird about that shit.
Yeah.
Are you using Mage the Awakening as a template?
Fool, I now have access to
I'm-
all your files. I shall now download all your porn.
Let's see.
It's
I
actually still an idea.
let's see. Share with people in other groups.
See, I was told today that this is also something that many people echo, is like that the blind huntsman is a story
Change
that they
to
really like.
anyone with this link. Copy. I'll delete this real quick.
You think there would be some
Space.
mental disassociation
This
with the
should
new
work
body
now?
if you uploaded your mind but you were an addict?
Let me try. I mean, it really depends on. Okay, I'm looking at this.
Alright, like I said, it's a very rough draft for like the beginning of shit with World of Darkness as a base, but it's
The mental, physical, social distinction is my system's thing. It's such a unique categorization of things that you must have stolen it.
not. What I'm considering is doing it with kind of like a mix of a little bit of Shadowrun as well, and that I really love the sum to 10 model for Shadowrun for character creation. I think that could work here.
Mm-hmm. So you're not doing Harry Potter specifically?
I mean, it is supposed to be set for the Harry Potter universe, but it's less of you play your way through school and more you're making a character who's like already
Yeah,
done
I don't
their,
want
like,
to do the
education
playthrough
and
school
shit.
thing, and that's really
I
not.
mean,
never been-
granted, in my opinion, the best way to do that would be with like a level up system rather than build a already established character system like World of Darkness or Shadowrun.
Oh, doing replacing computer with Muggle studies is kind of genius.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is actually kind of genius. Oh, you see, now that I see this, of course. But would that solve the problem? I don't think it would solve the problem. The OWLs
I mean,
are the
here's
disciplines, right?
The what?
The OWLs are the disciplines, right?
Basically the disciplines of magic you can go into. Yeah, basically how it would work is it would work with a little bit of a sum to 10 model where you do it like the different ranks of the OWLs, right? Like each one adds up to a certain number. And it would attribute to the skills associated with that area. Like if you chose Defense Against the Dark Arts, you'd have advantage in offensive magic and counterspelling, right?
Yeah.
Like,
see this,
yeah,
but this
yeah.
this is now the area where you have less flavor.
Granted, I was thinking about doing a certain thing where basically you can take certain spells from the Harry Potter universe as advantages in that you get better rolls for doing that specific spell, but at the same time you don't have as much, well, I don't know, you wouldn't have as much points for like other shit.
I do genuinely prefer the freeform approach to it, obviously, because I can't keep a lot of things in my head at the same time. But yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think this solves the fundamental issue, but I like the approach.
Yeah, the one thing that like me and Galad were talking about when we came up with this idea, though, is that the one thing that we'd have to accept going in is that the way this is going to be designed, it is not going to be a DM-friendly system, because the only way you can make this work is if you design all the tasks so that you either can't brute force it due to sheer overwhelming odds, or you can't brute force it because you can't use magic to solve the situation at all.
Dragon scales. Just use dragon scales.
Well, there are rules to the like what you can and can't do with magic in Harry Potter, and there's like 3 things you can't do. That's kind of the problem with that.
Well, actually, there's specifically 5 things you can't do with magic
that
I actually
rules,
list.
Yeah. It might have.
You can't make food, you can't make gold, you can't create romantic attraction, you can't summon knowledge that you're unaware of, and you cannot revive the dead.
Yeah.
Bitch, make me.
Which, I mean, that's. I mean, I guess it wasn't really the dead, because the fucking the stone, the death.
Yeah,
stone.
But it's not like they're back.
They're
the only thing that they are is kind of like a phantom, but only to you. And like, I think if I was to like go with a theory, right? I theorize that what the stone is, it just kind of makes a kind of a physical, mental manifestation of a person you loved from knowledge that you have of them.
I'm gonna let you in on a secret. The stone is actually made by killing people.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, you basically
Full Metal
replace...
Alchemist.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're not talking about the philosopher's
No,
stone.
but the thing is, nothing she has done is original.
Well, of course not. I mean, she
don't-
did get a lot of her inspiration from Lord of the Rings, apparently. Or was it
and you
Lord
know
of the
what,
Rings that
though?
she got
You
the
know
idea
what,
When
from?
Gandalf loaded up those spells like a machine gun.
You know what though? Fucking
What?
the Lord of the Rings stole all of its shit too. Like the ring
True.
that makes you invisible. That's straight up the ring of Gyges. That's a
And
Yeah,
didn't,
like-
platonic
this-
allegory.
Yeah, and didn't
I'm not saying stealing shit
Tolkien
is good,
actually
but
throw in
usually-
a lot of like Catholic shit into the work too?
No, a lot of stuff. Like even the aspect where the ring of Gyges corrupts you, because that's also part of the like. Basically, Plato says if you had this ring that could make you invisible, you could get away with pretty much anything. What would stop you from just being a horrible
You know what would be
person.
funny? You find that ring now, you do that, and then you get sent to jail because you left DNA evidence.
Yeah, that's
Oof.
true.
Oof.
It's
Yeah.
like, we've passed magic, fool. Or he puts it on and he's like, haha, the army can't see me.
I
Night
had
vision
a-
mode,
Yeah,
boys.
there's
I
also
ran
Sweet
a-
target.
I ran a City
What
of
was it?
Mist game the other day where I used the one ring principle for like various different aspects of the game. And Sauron was, I'm so proud of this. I've been telling this to so many people. Sauron is in this game, right? And he is the guy that you imagine Sauron would be in City of Mist is of course the guy who sits at the big desk where all the camera feeds come in from the CCTV all over the city, right? And
Yes.
see, the thing that he does is he creates like the Nazguls, which he did by giving these 9 rings to the humans, the human kings, and then they became Nazguls. And so I took the character that most fit the archetype of the Nazgul, and I had Sauron offer him a ring, or should I say, a donut.
Oh.
And because it would have been rude not to eat the donut,
So the
and because he had
sweet-
no
so-
idea that this was Sauron, he ate the donut and became a Nazgul.
So the squealing is in fact the security guard's mobility scooter crying out in terror under the weight.
yeah, that's what's happened.
Yeah. I have to say one thing though, right? I remember you mentioning that like nobody would take physical stats. I have a counter to this. Apparition-based martial arts.
Based. This is
Imagine
something that-
judo flipping someone and
Yeah.
then they're falling off the Empire State Building.
This isn't something that does exist in the law, but it should.
Not to mention, have we forgotten in
Wait,
in
isn't that
Fantastic
just-
Beasts when they were using a combination of firearms and fucking dueling?
Based.
Right?
Isn't that just the entirety of JoJo?
I do not know. This is not a
Like,
JoJo reference.
The apparitions that they summon do the fighting for them.
Yeah. No, the
I
ring.
mean-
The ring didn't come from Norse myth. The ring in Norse myth is the Andravenaut, which I also looked into. And the Andravenaut just makes you wealthy. And Loki, I think Loki stole it, and then the Andravi, the guy who made it, cursed it, so it would bring you disfortune. And that was also a part of the adventure, because there was a guy who had that ring and who was super rich, but when Sauron began to exist and it became his ring also, it didn't turn that guy invisible, but it did turn him into Gollum. So that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Hey,
Yes.
if you don't mind me steering the
Ancient
conversation
mythical
back on
weapons
the
and items always
back on
being
the system
cursed.
for a minute, there's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
something that like there was one thing that we actually had I think it was like a 20-minute discussion on that we realized unforgivable curses aren't as broken as you think.
What
Right?
do you mean? They're
And
not
here's-
broken, they're just boring.
Well, I mean, they're boring, but here's the thing. You would think that you insert that into the system, and the first thing everyone can do is Avada Kedavra and kill somebody, right? But we're sitting now, we're going through it thinking, you can't actually do that. Because, remember, even as, early as when it was introduced properly, I mean, in the 4th book, right? Moody just straight up told the classroom, you could all point your wands at me, say the words right now, and I doubt you'd even be able to give me a bloody nose. You have to put actual killing intent behind it. Even
Well, I'd
most
leave
people,
a whole room full of bodies.
basically the only way you can have it would be able to, for you to qualify to use it, is if either you take some kind of psychopathy feat, or if you have a certain enemy that really, really fucked you over at some
It's
point.
the same with the Cruciatus curse.
Exactly. You can't use the unforgivable curse unless you have real fucking reason and agency to do so.
Yeah.
Or you're pure fucking
Not
evil.
only that, but we noticed something else when it comes to the setting. Personally, the rules I would add for the curse, right, is that you can only use it on a downed opponent or an unaware opponent. Because, like, most of the time when you see it done, anytime that it's done to someone to either who doesn't know what's going on or is lying flat on their ass.
No, this happens all the time in duels. It's the standard thing that all Death Eaters do during duels.
What I want to know is why bother with
Well,
any other
granted, but
spell if
unless
you
you're
are
doing
going to use
that,
Avada
like,
Kedavra?
you're gonna fucking dodge the shit. I mean, obviously, you can't parry a fucking Avada Kedavra, but you can
thought you
still try
could.
to, like,
No, but they
get
do
out of the
though.
fucking
You can
way.
you can parry it. You can parry it like any other curse.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the famous lasers shooting at it, like the whole, the end battle of Voldemort versus Harry, where the lasers sort of push against each other. That's Avada
The way to
Kedavra
say a
against
Kamehameha.
Stupor. And I think you can just in general deflect curses if you know how to. I'm not sure how you do it, but there's like spells.
I mean, the way I've always seen it when they're doing it is what they're trying to do is what Death Eaters are trying to do specifically, right? Is put their opponent in a situation where they cannot block magic anymore or don't have the time. Like, basically, disarm, then kill.
Yeah, I mean, that's just generally a good tactic. I don't think that has anything to do with Avada Kedavra specifically. But that is a good tactic to use.
Yeah, I mean, that's the vibe I've always gotten from Wizard duels anyway. You're not just, like, constantly shooting the same thing. You're just trying to put your opponent in the position where you can either knock them out or kill them.
Yeah.
Hence
But,
why
I
I
mean, you
would,
can
like,
just
say-
straight up kill
yeah.
them, though. That's kind of the problem with this spell.
Yeah, I mean, granted, but again, the intent has to be there.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
most
I've always
people.
wondered,
the thing about Avada Kedavra is it's just a boring spell.
It's a boring spell, but you have to be careful. But in my opinion, you have to set some rules on it game-wise.
Of course.
Because, like, otherwise, it's just going to be broken as shit.
How about here's a good one, right? Considering you're supposed to be in the school, if you do it, you fail because now all the teachers are going to basically send you to Azkaban.
Well, it's not set up to be in the school, though. It's just set up for general use of the world building. You're not going to be in
it's
the
against
school.
the law. Like, that's the
Well,
point.
obviously.
Have you never broken the law in an RPG?
Exactly.
Because
Mate.
I have.
Yeah, but then there's a whole dynamic based on that.
Well, I mean,
Like,
yeah, but no, I mean,
The
there's no way to
pros, you
track
get to
it.
kill
though.
this person. It's like the cons, you are now wanted.
There's no way to track it actually. Like, you can't basically set up which is weird because you would think, because there's this thing called a taboo. Like, was it like the 7th book when somebody said Voldemort, where just the police would show the police. So maybe you just set up that for Avada Kedavra, and then you just.
Well, like.
Well, I mean,
what I'm
granted, but you
saying
got to
is, like,
remember,
if you
nonverbal
get
spells are a
caught
thing.
doing it,
That's true, yeah.
there's a bigger consequence. Like the pros cons.
But
sort
you
of thing.
can't. But the thing, it's like difficult. There's no DNA. The wizards don't know about DNA. Is what I'm trying to say.
I genuinely think in the time of the.
Well,
the-
they don't
the
know about
Harry Po-
DNA as far as, like, that goes. But you got to remember, most of Harry Potter was set in the 90s.
Yeah, the 90s we knew about DNA.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed is, like, I genuinely think magic even in the Harry Potter world at that point is now overrated, and like the stuff that science would just outdo magic with. Like, I wonder, it's like,
absolutely.
what if you had a sidearm, like a 9mm, while Harry's like going along with the fucking beam clash, just pulls out 9mm.
Yeah, no, but you can just create a shield with magic. That's possible.
But then
I mean, don't forget, we saw in Fantastic Beasts, there was most wizarding duels that took place. They were, like, just straight up also pulling a fucking gat on each other, too.
That's such a cool. Just have the gat, but it's loaded with spells.
Nah, even better, right? I want to just, like, see some, like, whack-ass this Wild West shit where somebody, like, makes wand bullets, just whips out a fucking Navy revolver and breaks a fucking shield with it.
Based.
In
Right.
Harry Potter, are dragon scales like immune to magic?
No, they're resistant to magic. You need very powerful magic to fuck with them.
So
And
if
I
you
think
gr-
it
if you-
depends
if you
on the
took the
dragon.
dragon scales, right, and basically like or their blood, as it were, and use that as a coat into your bullets, would that make them go through the magic shield?
You could just make dragon scale rounds like that simple. Not even as a coating, just use that as the proprietary ammo.
I'm not sure if they wouldn't deform too much.
I'm thinking one could technically pull a Thrawn in the Harry Potter world. Instead of your Salamari, it's just dragon scale. It's like, I don't need magic to kill wizards. I just need a name.
But like there's a lot of like analysis of like how magic would fare against technology, and the general consensus is always that magic, even with modern or moderate sci-fi technology, tends to be more powerful.
I mean, that's probably a bias of people who like Harry Potter. Like
no,
magic.
not really. It's like there's actual like nerd analysis of this shit. And it's
I would argue that
like I like Harry Potter, and it's just an interesting thing to do. Just because you like something isn't like, oh, you have to. It has to win somehow.
Yes,
there's
it does.
only.
This
I
is
would
why
say
Star
that
Destroyers
there's.
is what shapes we should use. I don't care about verticality.
Yeah, Star
I
Destroyers
would say
probably
that
fuck
magic only has two real advantages over science. One is just the amount of time it takes to do things, and second, I would argue, is mostly just stealth technology, like invisibility cloaks and shit.
Infrastructure too. There's such a
Does the
huge.
invisibility cloak actually cloak your temperature, though?
That's a good
I
question.
don't think it does. No.
I would argue that like the true cloak of invisibility, like the Deathly Hollow one, would do that, but like your average invisibility spell probably wouldn't.
No.
I love that the Deathly Hallows just end up with the original owners being killed, except the guy who just hid from death. And just it's like, I'm bored of running now.
So it's generally, but like it depends on how advanced your technology gets, of course. But generally speaking, magic wins.
Nah, man, sci-fi wins.
I would say there's certain things that are better and certain things that are worse. Like combat-wise, is Muggle technology all the fucking way.
I mean, if there comes a point where you just have nanosuits and shit, it's like, okay. But I mean, even that, like, one of Avada Kedavra...
I would argue just like standard 2020 technology.
Like, still require the plebeians to be involved in order to win that, as it were, in lore, from what I gathered.
The what?
You also got to remember...
win World War I on its own.
You also got to remember one thing that you need to take into account, Berg. No wizard is going to take Muggle technology seriously until it's too late.
I'm not sure that's true.
I mean, except for the Muggleborns, obviously, but you got to remember, most wizards, when it comes down to it, are fucking idiots.
That's a very like England is my city interpretation of Harry Potter and its lore.
I mean, isn't that J.K. Rowling's interpretation of rights?
I mean, I suppose. But no, it's really there's not. I don't even see the point of that. And of course, there were fucking regular people involved in World War One, because there was wizards against wizards. So yeah, wizards have always used Muggles as cannon fodder.
I wonder if there was, like, wizard fascists. That'd be interesting.
I mean, yeah, Voldemort was basically a wizard fascist.
I mean, yeah, but I'm talking, like actual, like, wizards of the Nazi party. Like, fucking, Goebbels might have actually been onto something with it. With all that kooky shit.
There is this thing.
Everyone knows Himmler was an evil mage.
There is this thing where, basically, actually, Grindelwald is a lot more fucking wizard Hitler than... Voldemort.
Than Hitler?
So, yeah, because he genuinely was a supremacist. And the thing is, basically, essentially, all these girls that have the Deathly Hallows tattoo, which was a Grindelwald symbol, this kind of like having the Wizarding World swastika.
oh, I'll just have this. It's great. It shows I like Harry Potter. No, it shows you're an
Right.
extremist, darling.
I mean, I knew people with that, but that was like before the Deathly Hallows thing. Apparently, that's like a thing for a band too.
It's a bit like not chewing the SIM card when you're in Al Qaeda.
Let me check this. Deathly Hallows symbol origin. What I didn't like about the Deathly Hallows is just so
I love
let's
how
go to
like all
Korra.
spin-offs in recent history have actively fucked with prior canon. It's like everyone's just become
No, the symbol is
disassociated.
completely a Harry Potter thing. It's just similar to other symbols because, let's be honest, it's rather simple in terms of its geometry. Yeah. No, so Ned, it's all these girls going around with basically wizard swastikas. There's even in that book there is even a mention of that where I think it's fucking the Luna's dad. I don't remember what he's called, but he has it, and people look at him like, dude, why are you wearing a swastika, man? And he's like, well, but people actually don't know that in truth, it's the Indian symbol for knowledge. You know, basically pulling that one.
That seems like JK making a comment on people who are like unironically Hindu.
No, that's not what he actually said. He said the actual story behind it is this story behind the Deathly Hallows, and not fucking. You know, this is how you would defend the swastika by saying, "Oh, it's the Indian symbol of whatever." I don't actually know what exactly it represents in the various Hindu denominations, but yeah.
I mean, let's face it, all religion should be destroyed.
I don't think that I agree with that, actually.
With Star Destroyers. Lots and lots of Star Destroyers. In the name of the Emperor. Maybe even those ships that the Emperor uses to ram things.
I mean,
I'm not indoctrinated by the Inquisition at all.
See, this is Warhammer shit, and I don't. You've lost me at the Warhammer shit. I don't know about the Warhammer shit anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like no. See, fucking the chat down here, the general chat is full of people. What's happening with all the patrons? Because there's been like a few.
I mean, they might have run out of money because of
No, they're
austerity
still all
measures.
there. They still have all the rights to join the stream.
No, they're normal patrons.
No. I mean, but the big patrons also, they didn't leave.
They're not down there.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what
might
I'm
be
saying at
busy.
all.
People have lives, Burger. Except me, apparently.
Yeah, they used to not have lives, though. This isn't even a complaint because it frees up stuff for me. I don't have to manage a big room. But
it does
it
mean
is
that
kind
topics get forced.
It is kind of odd.
Yep.
Oh, they now have it. They have the whole world now on the map. That's very good. So you can now check how it is in New Zealand. Oh, that's tremendous. I'm still playing around with the flood map. You will never stop me.
I'm not going to. I too enjoy. I'm more of a nuke map kind of person.
Of course you are.
To which I realized 3 Tsar bombers and you've irradiated all of the British Isles.
Have I ever done a video, doing a video of anti-theism? I probably have done a video anti-theism. I don't really care about it.
Yeah, man. Imagine not being anti-theist.
I'm not even anti-theist.
Oh, I am. I know I am. I'm that villain who like believes in the righteous cause of eliminating all religion. Only it's
What would
true
you
and
replace
it's
it with?
correct. Nothing.
Nothing. Just science.
I mean, science doesn't replace it. Science is just the fact of life, unraveled.
Yeah, you still need to have something that provides.
I mean,
You
I
can.
would argue
It's not just
I
about
could
the
see an
moral framework, right? It's not the moral framework that it provides. It's the community aspect and the spiritual need that is fulfilled by religion. That's much
I
more
mean,
so the case.
I could see an argument for replacing all religion with humanism.
Yeah, but you'd need to basically make a humanist church, is the thing. And humanists are generally not really fans of that kind of shit.
Well, what do you actually need for an ideal religion for the future?
There's no such thing as an ideal religion. Religion is, and you can't construct this stuff. You can't just replace religion with something. It's just religion's always going to exist. People are always going to think things that are not true. That's always going to be the
Freedom,
case.
liberty, freedom from religion.
The
Elisate.
the important thing is that it doesn't become oppressive. And like, I don't see the problem with people believing whatever they want to believe.
I mean, if I'm going to do a more target attack on religion as a whole, it'd be organized religions.
Yeah,
think
those
they're
are
the
more of
bane
a
of-
problem.
Just come in, act all godlike, wear golden armor with a halo on the back, look like a divine visage, smash places like Mecca, Jerusalem, and the Vatican into the ground, leave smoldering craters, and then disappear as if I was never there.
I mean, they'd know. Let's be honest.
No, I mean, as in like, so no one can form anything off me, as it were.
Okay.
And if I can spin it as if I was a spawn of like celestial entity in which like from space or something even better, because then people will fund more like space programs to defend us from, you know, that sort of spiel.
So basically, you want to be Superman, is what I'm hearing here.
No, I just want a Star Destroyer.
Which, I mean, Star Destroyers are really cool looking, first of all. I like Star Destroyers.
Brady, did you grow up in like a super religious family, or?
No. I've been. The concept of religion was only prevalent in my life when I reached primary school, in like the fucking hall where they forced everyone to pray, and you were told off if you didn't, even though like I'm like I don't believe in God, like I never will. I find the concept fallible, even from like primary school. I was like, it's a dumb. I remember someone trying to teach me like what God is, and I wasn't buying it as like a fucking 6-year-old. Just like, I ain't buying this shit. This is bollocks.
I had this. That was a really weird moment when I was like on the school bus, and people were like talking about religion class like it's real, and I'm like, wait, do you people actually believe this? And some kids got really mad. They got angry that I would go not believing that.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, in my class, like no one really believed it. It got like it's like I think as far as I'm aware, I mean, no one took it seriously. It was just something you had to do or you get in trouble. But then there's me, and it's like I'm not doing it.
Excuse me.
So fuck off.
Cheers.
Well, a lot of the central
You can't make
European
me do
countries
English
were
homework.
kind
You
of
can't
pushed
make me
into the
pray.
right by the U.S. to fight the Soviets, since they were kind of anti-religion.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
The USSR
undergod
has
thing
done so
didn't-
much damage to like actual progressive values and good ideas. Like their existence has been a disaster. And you know who we should blame for that? Imperial Germany.
Sure.
Lenin is the reason they went USSR.
I would
don't think
argue that's more Stalin.
I am not
The
going to
Tsar
comment
was
on this.
also the Tsar was also kind of really shitty to his people.
Oh
That
yeah,
kinda
I know.
led to the
I'm
revolt.
not anti the revolution. I'm anti the October Revolution.
Oh yeah, yeah. They kind of took power and shit.
Just time travel and make that train derail. Just like this weird cyborg like person walks up to Lenin as he's crawling out of the train. It's like, asked, like, he won't even know what it is. It'll be for my own benefit. Just blast him with like a 4 kiloton nuclear warhead at point blank. Make sure he doesn't regenerate. You can never be too sure.
So is the future capitalist, communist, a mix of the two?
It'll be a dystopia. I'll have
Yes.
returned from a dystopia to correct the ultimate wrong.
It's
And then I travel back, and apparently everything is decided by a children's card game. It's like, oh fuck, I've really fucked with timeline here.
yeah, no, that's a very sweeping question. If everything's going to be capitalist, communist, it's always something in between.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to implode in on itself into a socialist system that'll never be communist outright, as Marx said it would, because it's unfeasible and humans will just constantly revolt against the abolition of economic value.
Well, if everything's automated, you can't have a communist revolution because it relies upon the workers eventually
see,
taking power since they're
That's assuming the hive mind network, the internet, isn't going to hack that very system and turn it against its masters.
Yeah, but the internet's fractured.
The hackers'
There's-
revolution.
Yeah, but there's groups of hackers.
There isn't a thing. Nothing like this. Anything that relies on all of society pulling on the same string is not going to happen. That shit never happens.
It's chaos.
It's never going to be one system of anything. It's always going to be different people doing different things.
As long it's like, at least now the richest person in the world is someone actively trying to progress humanity. To what end and what his end goal is overall, we can never know in the inner workings of his mind.
Frankly, I would prefer if he didn't have that money and NASA had that money instead. Of course, as far as the things go, we
I'd
could have
rather
hit
the
it
European
worse.
Space Agency have that kind of money, because let's face it, NASA is a puppet of a fascist regime.
No. What?
They're all
Not
fascist
yet.
regimes, Burger. You just don't know it yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, of course, but the European Space Agency, it doesn't really matter. I would like to see is an international space agency. Because, frankly, it's an international... Imagine if you pooled the resources of all the...
I'd prefer an
other ones.
imperial space agency.
See, but you just a second ago, you were against the fascist dictatorship, so I don't
Because
really...
it's all fake. If I'm going to live under an authoritarian regime, I'd at least want the pomp of it all.
Well, fascism is extremely pompous.
Yeah, but like, I don't want to say dictator. I'd rather say glorious emperor.
Okay, it's about the aesthetic. No, that's understandable. That's respectable even.
That and in a general term, like, empires tend to run by a standard of like protecting the people, whereas dictatorships are more like the pure
Exploiting them.
race.
That depends on the dictatorship and the ideology
Well,
of the state.
let's cut all the faff. I should be in charge of everything, and we should have Star Destroyers. That's like my entire ideology summarized.
I
A lot
agree
of
on the
people have
Star
that
Destroyers
ideology.
bit.
I just don't trust anyone else. It's like the reason why I play healers in MMOs. I don't trust anyone else in my life.
Yeah, trust can be hard.
Yeah, but like, then you still have to trust the tank. You still have to trust the damage dealers. They're all
You'd think
also
you'd
incompetent.
need to trust the tank, but I have learned that you can become the tank if you can heal more fast enough.
Yeah. Let's see. Portland would also be completely underwater. There would be an inland sea in Portland. That's
What's that?
kind of funny.
Would ships be bigger in this world?
Why would they be?
I mean, larger harbors.
But also narrower passages. That it doesn't
fuck
really
yeah.
it doesn't really change the problem of the. I mean, just because the geography changes, most of the harbors just disappear. They become completely underwater.
Yeah, you'd have to build new ones. super harbors that are like semi in the water, elevated from the ground that they can now place struts in, and then you got like a train railway system that connects on like an entire network that connects to like your main megaport.
Yeah, but none of the usual shipping principles and the principles of like you know, naval logistics are changed in any way. It's still just because the
Wait, we
elevation
can just do
changes.
that now.
The
Why
fundamental
are
rules of geography don't change.
why are governments so terrible at utilizing their own resources?
Especially, maybe
Corruption.
you would have more ships with flatter bottoms, because here's the thing, because you know coastal areas are extremely densely populated, right? You'd have a lot of buildings there, and when it all floods, there would be a much higher risk of something like cutting open the belly of your ship. So
Hull
that's why you
damage.
why you
Breach.
wouldn't necessarily want to have too much depth, because the harbors that you will have will all be probably near areas that are full of a lot of buildings.
Statue of Liberty just cut that fire part, like it just cuts the bottom of your ship.
I did make crunch the numbers on that too, but it's actually not a lot that sticks above the water, unfortunately.
I've got just this image in my head now. I'm like, sir, it seems we've taken on excessive freedom.
Yes, more river, but the problem with river-capable vessels is that they're generally not like high seas capable. So generally, it will be more difficult to go to the ocean. Wait, where's Lake Fakadadula? What's it called? Lake
don't know.
Ozark.
Imagine the urban infrastructure makes it so naval travel is actually impossible across continental waters.
I mean, you can. That's the case in many of these places. Yeah. Let's see. Let me look at the numbers here. Let me
So
look at
the
where it is.
solution
It's
would be to
Kansas
have
City.
like space travel and just do trade in orbit in a giant trade station.
I mean, in this
But obviously
particular
then you would need
setting,
to
that's
protect
not
that.
the. Wait, where the fuck is the thing that I just had open?
Then you would need to protect those space stations, so you'd need to build Star Destroyers.
That's a completely different setting, though. Let me look. Because, I mean, of course, that is long term, that is what you'd want. The Lake of the Ozarks would be connected to the water, but it would generally be above sea level. That's very interesting. Damn.
You know what I absolutely hate?
What?
What?
The Nazis win World War II scenarios. Not because of, oh, Brady, it's because you don't like fascism, because let's face it, I don't actually care. It's the fact that it's so unreal. Like, there's no way they were winning that war.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's about the premise of it's about the exploring what would have happened if that had happened. I mean,
If Hitler would have just stopped halfway and not attacked Russia, he could have kept a lot of land.
The thing is, like, Russia was going to attack him. It's like, it was almost inevitable that Russia was going to backstab Hitler.
Well, I'm pretty sure the leader of Russia drank for like an entire week after Germany attacked because he was so shocked that Hitler actually reneged on.
Oh
his
yeah,
deal.
he was like he backstabbed us. How? Impossible, sort of like, you know. But like the system, the Russian system, and Stalin were gonna backstab him on their terms, as it were.
I mean, it wasn't
Maybe.
drinking because of, oh no, my personal trust was betrayed, but more like because, holy shit, how are we going to deal with this?
It's
Right.
like, let's break open the tactics of Russian generals, and it's like it immediately like locks. It is only one folder. Throw men at the issue.
Yeah, but that's like a huge, that's a huge cost, right? So
One that Russia can spend. Money,
well,
apparently, no.
especially if you add to that the whole situation of they do the whole burned earth thing or scorched earth thing. That also is a lot of economic value loss. So war is never cheap.
Just throw Ukrainians at them. They're not real people. That's Russia's attitude.
That is what they did also, so that's not entirely wrong.
Definitely the most interesting part of World War II was the Eastern Front. In my own personal opinion. Because they just went full out.
I'm sorry, but
bone fields.
There's just not giant flame balls of death on the Eastern Front.
Yeah,
That's why
but
I like the Pacific
true
one.
humanity of soldiers and families being slaughtered, people truly having to run.
That happens
bullets.
every war.
Yeah, but normally you don't have your own lieutenants going to shoot you if you don't move forward, like Stalin had. Like, if you did not move forward, they would shoot you.
Good. Not one step back.
Yeah.
Christ, Brady.
Whatever works. even though there are better ways to handle a war than whatever fucking mess those two megalomaniacs went with.
The best way to handle it was to not have it. That's really
objectively.
Right. Honestly, when learning history has made me appreciate Chamberlain more. Like, there was no way that the Allies were like ready for a war before that. Like, he was. Everyone knew there was gonna be a war. Like the Munich conference and shit was just like them buying time.
Yeah, he was optimistic.
It's not about optimistic. It's like they just weren't in any position to fight.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, he was a terrible prime minister, and it's like, but what else would you do in that situation?
I'm not a military history guy, so I have no idea whether any of that is true.
Well, England really didn't want to get into the war because they were still scared by World War One.
I mean, who would want to go into that war?
We lost a lot of men in that.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're an island with a low pop. Like, you can only throw so many of your colonials at the problem before they go, why are we fighting for this guy? I mean, India literally did turn around and do that. Gandhi was revolting long before the war even started.
Yeah.
To which we were like, all right, if you fight this war, we'll let you go. And we were like, maybe we should. In fact, it's probably beneficial we voted Labour for them to basically get their way. If Churchill was in again, it'd probably been a civil war in India.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. I'm going to go take a piss real quick. I'll be back in a second.
All right.
Good. It's now's the time for us to push our imperial propaganda.
Oh boy.
Remember, people. Right. We need to focus on the conservative viewers. You don't like gay? Then vote Imperial, and we'll bring back the traditions of old. War,
Which means
pillage, and rape.
And don't forget about what we do to the Protestants.
Wait. I'm generally confused here. I mean, I'm from England, which is basically a Protestant nation.
I'm sorry, my friend, but do you not know of the imperialism of the rest of the world?
Well, Protestant to a point. Genuinely, England got to a point where it's like, why don't we just not give a shit? Just tax people because they're people who make profit. We need more tea. I love the sheer amount of spite England had after the Opium Wars. It's like, oh, we're gonna spread the tea plant literally fucking everywhere so they don't have a monopoly ever. It's like the one time England had some kind of foresight. It's like, we might lose access, so we'll put the plant everywhere. That way everyone has to compete on prices. And we'll never be without tea. We can lose our empire, but we can't lose our tea. Yeah. If England lost its tea, it would implode, and Brady probably would end up taking over with some stupid name like the Rosetta Empire.
Like the English brain would just be like drained out without that liquid. It'd become terrible. Like they'd forget what a shed is. There'd be no more inventions. We'd have to backwards engineer everything. So we'd have like Vulcan bombers, but with propellers, which looks awful.
Hey Brady, are you pro or anti Brexit?
Me, I voted for it because it would further my own goals. It's like, oh, me English race or me immigrants. It's like they were never my arguments. Oh, my rights for the no. It's like this will accelerate Scottish and Welsh independence and Irish unification, which would weaken England, giving more voice to the North because its votes would be weighed even more.
What is
Isn't the
happening?
North? We're talking about Brexit.
Yes.
Makes sense.
And my infinite expanding brain on my reasons for supporting it. Stronger UK? No, this is going to make it weaker. I want a stronger Northern England, a louder Northern England. They won't be able to ignore us if everyone else has left. Just in like the room where everyone leaves because they no longer like the thing, but the one guy who likes an argument is still there.
Fucking. Yeah. So, well, Atlanta would probably become a naval power because the entire city would be completely intact, including all of the suburbs. But it would still be very near to both a very like good harbor area for global trade, but also an additional protected harbor on the other side. So that's wild.
So they probably rename themselves to Atlantis.
It's actually not a terrible idea. Fucking.
I mean, they are Americans, so they'll be pretty. The Americans are very. What's the word? Self-righteous.
It's
Only a
so.
little bit.
It's so wild if you look at this. How many cities are just at the lowest points? Because you will see there's like lakes on the map, and just they're exactly the cities because the cities were built in like a depression.
Well, that's the point. That's like human nature. We've always built on rivers.
Yeah. That's a huge. There's so much that's just gonna disappear. It's like, dang.
I mean, even with normal like flooding expectations from global warming, it's a lot of fucking damage.
Yeah, San Antonio would be half submerged. There's a lot of fucking goddamn.
Oh fucking hell! Why is dog going off now? It's 10 o'clock.
It's a dog. I don't think it can read the clock. Damn, there's a lot. Like, I really recommend this like flood map shit. You could play around with it a lot. Yeah, we're probably gonna end the stream very soon because there's not really much happening here at all. I mean, we're gonna have to end it soon anyway. So let's just do it.
Fair.
You know, we have I think we're like 13 more minutes, and then we're gonna be finished. Finito.
Walks out there, just stands in the middle of the fucking path, and it's just like, yeah, you stupid cunt. It's cold out there. Enjoy that now.
Probably saw a ghost.
I'm not superstitious. If anything, probably saw a burglar, because there's been a lot of burglaries. Apparently someone's been working their way down fucking street. I'm like, they come in this house, I kill them. I won't even hesitate. They're not taking this computer with me alive.
Fucking. I mean, to be fair, you gotta have the right priorities. That's really, it makes sense.
I mean, it's all I've got. That and the bunch of Armada models of Star Destroyers. I don't have a problem.
That shit is actually like valuable though.
Not as valuable as apparently a Final Fantasy statue that was like 200 quid. And my literal response is, I'd rather have 3 Star Destroyers.
Fucking. Yeah, but there's probably like if they understand, the value of things, they would probably find your place to be a prime target.
I mean, there's always someone here, so there's either a witness or an armed defender.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously going to be a huge discouragement because they, when you break into a place, you don't really want to deal with the hassle of any of that. So,
Although, I have learned from my ex thefts that big dogs they're not afraid of. Most of them are harmless because of stupid British laws saying you can't have guard dogs.
yeah.
It's the small ones they're worried about because that alerts the whole fucking town. There's someone there because it's like constantly.
Well, but how do you mean the you can't have guard dogs? Like a dog
Well, like
still
if a big dog attacks, the dog gets put down.
Yeah, but the dog doesn't know that.
No, but like a lot of dogs are now completely domesticated. If you get me, like they'll just see a stranger as someone else who might give them treats.
Oh my god. That's kind of, I mean, sure, that's good and all that, but also, I want me a guard dog.
Whereas here, most of the
A
reason
hellhound,
people
so it
get
can, like,
Rottweilers or
just
Pit
turn
Bulls
to
or German
ash.
Shepherds is, to guard their house.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, there would be no dog breeds.
The irony.
I mean, hell, here in the United States, we even have Dalmatians at fire stations for that reason.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
there's like all of those like old dog breeds are built for specific purposes, though. So it makes sense that they would, be able to do stuff.
The irony is, a burglar is more likely to be bitten by me than the dog.
And they're not going to put you down for it, so that's a win-win
I don't
situation.
know, to be honest. I've said I'm a deity enough about. Well, he says he's not human.
That's fair, yeah. That they might on that account they might do it.
That, and I think if they went through my internet history, I'm not coming out of that jail.
Fucking goddamn, dude. To be quiet about that shit.
I mean, it's nothing against the state, so
Okay.
alright, the dog's barking again, she wants to be let in.
Yeah, pet the dog. Be nice to the dog.
Have any of you guys tried meditation or anything?
Oh yeah, I found it's very relaxing. It really clears my mind. When it's like really fucking busy, which happens a lot. It doesn't like shut things up, but it certainly makes them a lot more quiet, and that's pretty great.
What about you, Brady?
Brady's busy with the dog.
Oh,
Give me this look as if you didn't tell me it's cold.
Yeah.
but Brady, have you ever done meditation?
Meditation.
Yes.
I tried it past when I tried to like experience the Jedi side of life, and then I realized I prefer to focus on my hate.
Based.
I
Did
mean,
you ever
I go Jedi with the broken machines, and it still stays broken. I get angry and hit it; it starts working again.
This has been my experience as well. So that's
Seaburger, embrace the ways of the Sith.
that's like people say, "Oh, you need to be nice to the computers and then they work." No. You need to hit them. That's the only way they'll learn.
Or you unplug the cartridge and blow in it.
Yeah, otherwise
There's a boomer joke.
yeah. I mean,
Just show my age.
is this a desert? No.
Brady, did you read the Star Wars novels? Or
Which ones? There's a lot.
yeah, I know. I've read like 50 of them.
Well, I've read Republic Commando Order 66, and then I've listened to the audiobooks of Thrawn Alliances, Thrawn Treason, and the new one I've forgotten the name of, but I listened to that, where he's in the
Did you ever read
Ascendancy.
Darth Bane or?
No, but I've got a good synopsis of it all. I mean, I've
That's a
basically
great
read all
book.
of Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Which is for one of them like fandom wikis still the best name.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Objectively the best one.
Although there's a
Makes
few
most
things
sense.
that like people will get completely wrong. For instance, like in a lot of things, it'll say like the Venator, which is like the Republican cruiser, and it can carry 400 odd ships. And then you look at the carrying capacity of a ship that's designed to be the dedicated carrier replacement, and it's like 100 ships. It's like something doesn't add up here, especially when it's like 4 times the size.
I mean, you've lost me when you introduced math to the equation. Frankly, that's
Ah.
it's too
You
much
see,
for
if you
me.
the thing is you might get your immortality because it's biological, but the moment that we have FTL in like 1,000 years, you wouldn't be able to step on that ship because it would immediately
Yeah.
diverge into a black hole.
I'm staying on Earth. I don't give a shit. It's nice enough here.
Man, I'm gonna end up crashing into another cruiser in a firefight. I'd join the Galactic Marines or whatever we call it. Based if they call it Stormtroopers, but I highly doubt that.
What, you don't like the Space Force?
I mean, we don't know what he wanted to call the space. I don't know what they're gonna go with Space Force, like units, infantry. Probably Galactic Rangers. I mean, that has a nice ring to it, and I could quote Ratchet and Clank.
I was more thinking of like the spoof show from GTA 5.
I mean, if they called it if it called it Space Marines, it would just emphasize 40K, and they don't really want that because that's also fascism. But Space Rangers is either it's
Brady,
Ratchet
I'm
and
gonna be
Clank
straight with you,
or
dude. I don't think most American politicians know what Warhammer 40K is.
yeah, but they very quickly will if they go with that name. But like
Probably.
Galactic Rangers, Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear, I think they'll go with that. You know,
I doubt they're gonna name anything in the Space Force Buzz Lightyear.
No, but like Space Rangers. Space Rangers is the forces that Buzz Lightyear in universe was in. Did you never watch that Disney cartoon?
Oh, yeah,
I don't
that
think I
cartoon.
have. No, there's look if there's something that people watch, I haven't seen it.
Have you watched Game of Thrones?
Actually, I have watched Game of Thrones,
The books are better.
and I regret it. So
Ironically, I got to season 4, and then like because I went transition to computer, and I don't like having too many subscriptions. I never watched the rest. I dodged a bullet there.
yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah, Jon Snow is such a bitch in the show compared to the books.
Was not really my contention with it at all.
What was your problem with it?
That it didn't. It was really good at the beginning, and then it was really bad. That was my problem with it. It started out
season
really
4.
interesting, and then they just sort of lost the plot completely. There's so many criticisms of Game of Thrones. I'm not going to be able to get through them in the last 3 minutes, and I also don't want to.
I mean,
yes,
they lost the plot because they literally lost the plot because they
Yes.
ran out of it.
Yes, this is an objectively true statement.
Yeah.
They just got completely fucked on that front.
So Brex, you asked me a
Yep.
controversial question. I'll ask you: Disney or Legends?
Legends.
All right. Damn it! I wanted an excuse to use a GIF, but I guess I can't now.
Is that
Yeah,
really a
Disney
controversial
completely
question,
fucked it
though?
up.
It depends on the audience. Has J.K. Rowling post what was the last book called again? What is the last book?
I mean, it depends. The Deathly Hallows is the last book.
Ah, so you are cultured. Damn it! No one's giving me a reason to use this fucking GIF now.
Of course I fucking read the books. I read them twice as a kid.
Who's
Yeah,
asking
in any
that?
case, this basically concludes our live stream today.
Well, I guess I'll just say this to whatever audience is still watching.
Yes.
No,
you can post that for any reason, really. Let's be honest.
There has to be a motive behind or a reason for things I do. It's not just out of the void.
Okay, well, I mean, in that case, thank you all very much for watching, and see you around, cunts.